Hello and welcome to this week's episode of CBTV. My colleague Greg Hunt today penned an insightful piece in the Australian newspaper, the merits of which are very valid to the current political debate in this country. In his column, Greg highlights the hypocrisy of the Australian Labor Party and the clear double standards that exist with freedom of speech in Australia. He mentions personal attacks made by journalists on people like John Howard, Brendan Nelson and Tony Abbott. Attacks by people like Marique Hardy suggesting that Brendan Nelson's wife and children be glassed because they don't deserve to procreate. And Catherine Devaney saying that a coalition frontbencher had, and I quote, the face of a rapist. Where was the outrage from Labor when these abusive and hateful comments were aired? I certainly didn't hear anything. But the Labor frontbench themselves are guilty of operating in this space too. Julia Gillard's Cabinet Secretary, Mark Dreyfus, has compared Tony Abbott to a Nazi war criminal in a written opinion piece for a national newspaper. Again, where was the criticism from Labor about this? Can you imagine the outcry if someone from the conservative side of politics wrote words of this nature about someone on the other side? Even our Prime Minister has been guilty. She's compared Tony Abbott to Jack the Ripper. And as we've seen over the last few weeks, if you're from the left side of politics, it appears you can say almost anything without condemnation. But this rule does not seem to apply from those on the right. Labor ministers have attacked me, they've attacked my colleagues past and present. They've twisted and distorted arguments and words in a quest to gain some minute political advantage, heedless of the damage they're doing to the standards of public debate and the concept of free speech. A concept that says no matter how much we might disagree with what others have to say, they should be able to say it. The Labor Party and their acolytes hold others to a different standard than they're prepared to account for themselves. This is a circumstance that needs to change on behalf of every Australian interested in supporting our freedoms and our democratic ideals. This is Cory Bernardi. You're watching CBTV.